Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have the most realistic super Helldive tier list you've ever seen in your entire life. Now, you might be thinking, all your old tier lists split between the bots and the bugs, Clay. Why did you degrade it into just one? Well, this is for realism. And realistically, you're only allowed to play against one faction anyways. So two don't really matter anymore. And you might be thinking, that's not fair to all the guns and their power weights. And to that I respond, I don't care, because not only do we have one dumpster fire row, but we'll have two. Spoiler alert for later. All right, so we're going to light this off by talking about how this tier list is broken down. This is the most important part. S tier is for the super weapons. A tier is for the absolute weapons. B tier is for the beta weapons. C tier is for the cuck weapons. And D tier, this is my boy. He cooking. Not only will everything in the dumpster fire surely be buffed to be S tier next patch, Dumpy Chan shows up for everybody. Lock in. So our very first weapon that we'll talk about, because it's selected already, is the Knight. Okay. This thing still doesn't resupply all its magazines. Its damage still sucks. It's a bullet hose. For some reason, it don't make no sense. I did log in, by the way, just as a heads up. I logged in and I did my little individual check on every weapon. I probably could I could drag all the clips up, but realistically, if somebody complains in the comments, I'll upload one to my alt channel and reply with it, because I don't want to do all that. So the Knight is dumpster fire because it sucks. Don't buy the super edition. It's not in your best interest. It never was. Paywall weapons are garbage in every single game that we could ever talk about, and the Knight is our very first D tier weapon. It'll never be good. It can't ever be good. Now, just as a heads up, the weapon is really fun to use. It's a bullet hose. It's actually enjoyable. It's like a fun weapon to play with, but like they just ignore that it exists. Very unfortunate. Next up on our list is going to be our first super weapon. It's going to take me a second. The Cookout. Yeah. All right. So definitively the best gun in the game versus both factions. If anybody wants to argue that, I'm just going to tell you that you're wrong. And then I'm going to show you clips of me just blasting. It was me and Dirkaiser back to back in the trenches against the bots last night. The shield devastators pulled up with like 12 of them. They came around the corner in full force, and I just started cooking them out. And then he was killing him with the railgun, but my dot was killing him too. It was crazy. You had to be there. If you weren't there and you didn't see it, is what it is. You might see it later. Maybe I'll pop it up as a little clip in the corner with Subway surfers below me. Maybe next time. We'll never know. I would say definitively right now, if you were to talk about both factions, the Cookout is the flat out best weapon in the game. Uncontested. I'm not even, this is not troll, because I've been memeing pretty hard. The Cookout's the best gun in the game. It is the definitive shining example of what every single other primary weapon in the game should be. It's not overpowered. It has high stagger, which lets you like support you and your teammates. It lets you save people, which is super important. It keeps your HP high because you're not trading damage all the time, right? It has a dot on it that helps you, like you play bad or you get gun punched and like you kind of miss your shot half hits. It helps compensate for like poor damage. It's just the best. And that's how every gun in the game should feel, just like the Cookout. It's actually great. They will revert all Punishers to 40 ammo. No, they won't, Gamarka. Shut up. All right, the Eruptor. This is a shining example of how to not balance a weapon. Not only was the Eruptor's whole identity, future, like they got it. I kind of want to put it in cucked here because it got cucked. All right, so because the Eruptor no longer has shrapnel, feels terrible to use, genuinely unfun weapon that has almost no impact on the progression rate of the game. It's going in the C tier because it got cucked. Now, you could disagree with that, but one, all my homies hated the Eruptor when it came out, including myself, because it wasn't fun to use. Versus the bugs, all the breakpoints suck. It doesn't kill anything great. You have to use way too much ammo. You're reloading. You regularly bolt pull when you are reloading the next magazine and kill multiple magazines of ammo if you get interrupted by stepping on a pebble. Feels bad to use. The Eruptor's been cucked. I'm trying to think, because this tier list is the realistic one, right? you guys are correct. It's Pummler time. One, the Pummler used to be Himothy. It did get fixed a little bit, and you can stun Devastators in like 3 shots, but it needs to stun them on the first shot. The Pummler on launch was S tier. Right? When this weapon first came out, it was realistically, I rated S tier. You saw me running and gunning with it. It's the best stealth weapon in the game by like, it's not even close. You can shoot and it works like the autocannon where you shoot, it explodes on where you shot and enemies get attracted to it. We did a solo no death the first day with it on stream. That was the first thing I did. I was like, I want to see how the Pummler is. And it owned. It was so fun to use. And then they kind of just made it like, oh, okay, now it doesn't stun as much because, oh, the Chargers needed to not get stunned by it. It's like, who cares? Right? Why should the Chargers have been able to be stunned by it in the first place? But B tier for beta. It's a weapon that is probably in beta after its nerfs. So that's how it goes. Well, realistically, S tier weapons equals C tier. Look, you're not wrong. And that's why the S tier is, this might be a pyramid scheme tier list. The Cycle is A tier, okay? Now, they did remove 3 magazines from it. 300 shots in a row, you could just big blast. You're basically using a stalwart. Versus the bugs, you can clean out an entire patrol that's walking by. It's not great against the new brood commanders. Just in general, the Cycle, it's always been like my main go-to like weapon. Now, it should light stuff on fire, but it doesn't. And that don't make no sense. Because all the laser weapons now light things on fire on their 2nd to 3rd tick on any enemy. So the Cycle needs to light them on fire as well. If the Cycle lit enemies on fire, it would easily be S tier because it has good handling, an amazing sight, an amazing bullet spread. Across the board, this thing is just, it's been one of the best weapons in the game since it came out. And people stopped using it because it lost 3 magazines. Realistically, I don't know most of these weapons because they ass. That's true. All right. So our next weapon, because this will make the most sense, we got to put it early. The Liberator. Now, the Liberator is what the devs want you to play the game with. So it's going into the C tier for Cuck, right? This weapon is not fun to use. You got a lot of ammo and not a lot of damage, and all the enemies have a nice amount of armor resistance that makes it completely worthless. It makes it feel bad to use because everything you shoot takes too many shots. You might have a bunch of ammo, but it all feels useless. You might say, oh, but the Sickle has like the same, it feels, no, the Sickle has infinite ammo and the Liberator doesn't. Right? So that's where we're at with it. The Liberator's C in the Cuck tier. The Jack of all trades, no, the Pummler's the Jack of all trades. The Defender's the Jack of all trades. The Liberator is not. The Liberator's a lot better against the bots than the bugs, but realistically, why would you ever bring it in? You wouldn't. How many people do you see use the Liberator? Nobody.
It's been an honor.
I killed a Bile Titan with a Liberator! But the reason we did that one very specifically is because I wanted to talk about the Liberator variants. Now, the main reason that the Liberator Penetrator is going to the dumpster fire is because it's a weapon attachment. And the game should have weapon attachments. And the fact that we don't is stupid. And it don't make no sense. Which means that the Penetrator is in the dumpster fire because there's no reason you should ever use it. Because it's a weapon attachment. And there's better things. Now, another weapon that's a weapon attachment is the Liberator Explosive. To be honest, it's probably in this dumpster fire tier above the Penetrator because it's just worthless, but it's just as bad. So we're going to leave it here. Another weapon attachment. Again, we just need weapon attachments in the game. They shouldn't be making new Liberators. We should just be getting weapon attachments, and that's it. There shouldn't be anything said about them at all. Nobody should be talking about these weapons ever, basically. They don't make sense. They shouldn't be in the game. They should just be weapon attachments. Like Liberator with FMJ is the Penetrator. Liberator with concussive rounds is the Explosive. Liberator with faster fire rate, also dumpster fire Carbine, because like you can literally toggle fire rate on support weapons. So like this is just a faster fire rate Liberator, and the whole reason I would take the Liberator is for pinpoint shots against the bugs, or the bots, excuse me. So why would I ever take the Carbine for more fire rate when that actively takes away from the weapon and now I have to single shot it? It's stupid. So all three of these weapons just shouldn't be in the game, and they should be deleted, and weapon attachment should be added. And then I could turn this Liberator into any of these three weapons, no questions asked. I think that before you load in, you should be able to kit your gun out or whatever. You know what I mean? Like in the vehicle customization area, there should be a weapon customization thing under that, and you can pick the skin of the weapon. You can pick all the stuff you want on it, the scope, everything. Like instead of having to balance the guns, or oh, this gun has this scope, this has it. Just let us pick everything on the weapon that we want. You know what I mean? I want this scope. I want this ammo. I want whatever. You know, it just doesn't matter. Just give us choice. That's it. Basically need HD1 with weapon mods. Kind of true. Weapon attachments sound too reliable. Look at it. Hey, this is the realistic weapon tier list, brother. If it sounds too reliable, it's because it is. All right. It'd be too much fun. Yeah, let's not give many ideas to nerf, okay? So our next weapon up on the list is the Crossbow. The Crossbow, at its launch state, was the best horde clearing weapon in the game. Better than the grenade launcher. Bot drops would be coming in, and we would just be blasting, right? Everything would be gone. Bug breaches. We were clearing bug breaches with the Crossbow. It was so good, and it was so fun to use, and it was like a grenade launcher crossbow. It was so sick. And like, then they gutted it to an unusable state, literally unusable. Then they buffed it, and then finally it is where it is now, and it's a one-handed meme gun. So like, I don't know why I don't know what they're trying to do, man. Like, why wouldn't you make the crossbow good? It just don't make no sense. So is what it is. Crossbows, dumpster fire. You would just never bring it. I know some people, but stealth, but XYZ. Why would I bring the crossbow over? Like, maybe I could bring it with the shield, but I would just bring the Pummler instead. Yeah, it feels terrible. Don't worry, guys. It's one-handed now. Yeah. Make the crossbow great again. True. So D tier crossbow. The only suggestion I have is just revert it to its launch state, and then it will be really fun to use. All right. Next weapon on the list. We'll do the Plasma Punisher. This is another S tier weapon. I know a lot of people are going to be like, damn, it doesn't do that much damage. You haven't seen me use it. I'm going to be honest with you. You can spam the Plasma Punisher. It's crazy that we have two Punishers in S tier, by the way, when you think about it. You have to rank the PP. Yeah, the PP. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Curved PP. S tier. First of all, it stagger locks everything, just like the Cookout. It has AoE. You can shoot over the front of tanks and hit its heat sink so that you can kill them from the front. It rounds so many of my builds out, and it's just been another one of the... since they fixed it. On launch, this thing was one of the worst weapons in the game when it came out, by the way. It was terrible. It was terrible. Curved PP meta has been in the game for a while. Nobody uses it, though. But ever since it got like 3 buffs in a row, it's just been amazing. Like, we fight the bots, it blows the entire map out. You fight the bugs, it does feel a little bit worse on Super Helldive right now because of all the large stuff, like all the Brood Commanders and stuff. And another issue I have when we talk about the plasma weapons is like the Scorcher is still A tier. It feels kind of bad to use, right? It still does feel, but this is one of the OG favorites for me. And it still owns versus both factions. Purify my ass. I'll purify it right in the dumpster for you, bro. Purifier. I remember Alexis specifically saying, he's like, bro, the Purifier is going to be S tier. All the weapons in the Polar Patriots War Bonds, S tier, bro. They're going to be great. He lied to me. Another weapon attachment. It's clunky. It feels bad to use. The only redeeming quality is that you can scream Purify for 40 minutes while you don't kill anything. You CC them all to death, and you can do the same thing, but better with the Plasma Punisher. They're taking the entire Purify, made a firing mode on the Scorcher. That's the problem, is it's just a firing mode for the Scorcher. It's a weapon attachment. Here, we'll put the weapon attachments in the bottom row, is what it is. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This is another S tier weapon. I know some people are going to be like, it's clunky, feels bad to use. It's the bolter from Warhammer in the game. It's cool. L take? Damn, L take? Are you serious? The reason that the Dominators and S tiers can kill everything on the bots, you can take it by itself, and if you're dying or you're playing with randoms, you can kind of handle everything by yourself. It can kill every single enemy that they have except for the rocket tank, right? So it's really good. It does feel bad to use most of the time. It is clunky, and I do think they need to just revert the nerf that they did to it, because There was no reason to. It needed to be buffed to the whatever damage thing it did. And then the nerf they did to it after that, it didn't need it. They were just trying to nerf off popularity, and it didn't need to be nerfed. It's still S tier though, because I think it's cool. Just like the Blitzer. That's also S tier. Against the bots, it's not great. But if you play the spawn set with the Berserkers spam, probably pretty good. It has infinite ammo. You can CC lock everything in front of you. I don't really have a problem with it. I'm just going to be completely honest. This is one of the most fun weapons to use in the game. Originally, I remember the stream too, by the way. You guys, okay? I was animation cancel spamming the Blitzer with the Revolver, and people were like, it's not that fast. It was 40% faster shooting it. I remember I compared the clip on stream, okay? So the recommendation we put in the Google Doc was you shouldn't have to animation cancel weapons for them to feel fun and cool to use. Right? So then they made the attack speed way faster and upped its range. It's like, all right, W tier list, yep. So with the Blitzer as well, you can aim it in and shoot, and then you can hip fire shoot it. And a lot of the the clunky stuff where it's not shooting over certain objects and like over bodies, it kind of gets removed depending on how you shoot it. Doesn't Cutting Edge also have this? Wait. Yeah, wasn't it Sickle, Curved PP, Blitzer? Isn't that all in the same war bond? wait a minute. I never thought about that before. You buy that one war bond and you win. Like, that's like the best war bond in the game. You buy and the Dagger. The Dagger's nuts right now too. That's the only good. Yeah, you buy that war bond and you win. Next up on our list, let's just fill our S tier out, bro, because there's only one more thing that goes in. Diligence Counter Sniper. This needs to be buffed damage wise, but either way, you bring it versus the bots, the best bot weapon, second best to the Cookout. It cooks everything. It's a big blaster. It owns. Is what it is. You could be mad about the Diligence CS and S tier, but I think you're wrong if you don't think it should be an S tier, okay? Now, the reasoning behind it is it's fun to use. It used to be literally dumpster fire garbage. It used to handle worse than the Dominator, which is crazy. But now it just owns. Right? It one-shots all of the Devastators. It one-shots... We did kill a tank with it. It took like 7 magazines or something, but you can kill the tank with it. Yeah, no, it's the last S tier weapon on our tier list. Our realistic tier list is that if you brought these to any game, you're going to own. Probably. If cool factor is in play, why is the laser assault rifle in A tier and not S? Hey, I'll ban that guy. No. No fire. Yeah, no fire. That's why. No fire. Damn it. All right. Next up, weapon. The Scythe. Also A tier. Now, I know some people are going to call a cappuccino on me with this one, but it lights shit on fire. And it's cool. And I'm not going to lie to you. If the scope was better on the Scythe, it would be S tier. That's it. It would be S tier with a better scope. If it had the cycle scope, the game would be Jover. All these weapons, okay, it would be the Cookout and the Scythe in S tier. Everything would get dropped down. The fire dot is great, and it melts everything. It's so good now. If you haven't been using it, it lights the stuff on fire. And you know what fire dot does? Insta kills everything. So you don't even have to aim. You just wiggle it around the screen and you win. And it makes laser noises. The cycle doesn't make laser noises. That's why it's A tier. Realism. It's what the Torture wants to be. True. Let's talk about the Torture real quick. Torture is going to be C tier because it had its animation cut. The whole problem with the Torture is that it feels bad to use. You can do a little bit of area denial. You can put some fire on the floor. The Adjudicator. We're going to slam this guy into B tier. Now, the reasoning behind this is it's pretty good at its spray down. It has bad ammo economy. You know what? The more I talk about it and think about it, the more it should be in the D tier, to be completely real with you. It's not looking too hot. It looks like a fish. Where are you fishing, bro? Where are you fishing that your fish look like a... It does kind of look like a fish, doesn't it? Huh. Blue for water. It's green. It's a green weapon, bro. What are you guys, stupid? It's a green fish in the green water in the green fish tier. This is a realistic tier list. Lock in. Come on. What are we talking about here? It's in the, we in the swamp. Raster's 2D image in gaming fake 3D object. Well, that is what it is. We need a domain expansion fish tier. All right. Get serious, bros. What's happening? Defender, A tier. Reasoning? For some reason, this weapon has surpassed the sands of time. How nobody's looked at this thing, I don't know. It's been slept on since day one. You can use the shield with it. You can shoot it with one hand. YouTube, this is an air. This blows air. This is not a gun. It blows air, YouTube. Okay? It's an air thing. I promise. You're like, that's how you look with the Defender. All right? One-handed master. Yeah, it plays games the way I do. One-handed. So that's why the Defender's an A tier. Realistically, if I mastered one-handed gameplay, I could put the Defender in S tier, but I'm still working on it. One day, I'll get good enough to do it. I'll be like the rest of you. All right, next up on the list, the Tendu Tickler. On launch, the Tendu Tickler was tickling D's. Now, realistically, it is actually better than the Liberator. Unfortunately, I use the Liberator like an assault rifle, and I use the Tenderizer like a marksman rifle. Tendu in the fish tier. All right. It also kind of looks like a fish. That's fair. It doesn't deserve to be in the dumpster fire. Nobody will know what fish tier actually is, but you don't use it. The problem with the Tenderizer, to be realistic, you do not use the Tenderizer like an assault rifle. It's labeled as an assault rifle. I want an assault rifle. I don't want a marksman rifle when I pick an assault rifle. I don't. I could pick the DCS. I could pick the Diligence if I wanted to use a marksman rifle. This is an AR. Don't make me use an AR like a marksman rifle. It does not make sense. I use it as an assault rifle. I don't. And that's why I'm right and you're wrong. I have the shades of prophecy and truth. Do you have the shades of prophecy and truth? I don't think so. Which means that I'm right and you're wrong. Skill issue. Diligence, regular Diligence is just going to go into the C tier. It doesn't hit enough breakpoints. It kind of feels terrible to use. I don't know how they would have to buff the damage on this thing like crazy for it to be good, bro. Right? Or give it what, you know what? Not even by crazy. It would just need one damage and it would one pump all the Devastator heads. It would feel really good. It needs more ammo and more damage. Realistically, it did get the durable buff, so it has that niche against the bugs, but it still doesn't do enough damage for it to mean anything. Oh my god, dude. And you're just sitting, you just shot me in the head. The Diligence is, I'm breaking my own rules. Realistically, the Diligence is a weapon attachment, and the DCS is the better version of that. So you're right. It's a dumpster fire weapon attachment. Shouldn't be in the game. You're not wrong. Correct. You beat me at my own game. Ban Isaac. Don't ban Isaac. I love Isaac. Anybody with a green? I got smoked. Literally, I got dusted. Somebody mod that guy, right? He just smoked me at my own game. He beat me at my own game. W's and yeah, I throw some W's up for Isaac, bro. He corrected my. I almost Alexis the tier list. The Breaker, B tier. I know some people are like, there's no way to Breaker's B tier. It still has all the same reloading issues that it had on launch. A little bit less ammo, and drastically reduced range. Which means you know where the Slugger's going, guys. So we're talking about weapon attachments and how they shouldn't be in the game. They should be weapon attachments. The Cookout is the best possible version of the Punisher. Well, the Slugger is a slug version of the Punisher. Now, I know the Plasma Punisher's there as well, but it's an energy weapon, so we're going to give it an excuse, okay? That's an excused one. The DCS, yeah, but it's the better attachment, so it gets to be an S tier, okay? It's my tier list. I make the rules, all right? Come on here. Let's not be silly. Sent me something for the fish tier. Okay, hang on. What's this? Yo, that's crazy. Hang on. That goes so hard. Yo, that's crazy. All right. I like that. Back to the Slugger. It is just a weapon attachment. CCing one thing sucks. Like, why would I CC one thing when I could CC the whole screen? For some reason, it has bloom now. And I was like, man, you know what I was thinking about doing? I was thinking about doing that, you know, the weapon comparison video for like realism and stuff. I went and bought slugs for my shotgun, like IRL, but I haven't had a chance to go shoot it yet because I've just been busy. What I was going to do was I was going to go to the shooting range and just record me shooting my slug shotgun and be like, wow, it doesn't bloom. Right? Just a normal 12 gauge Mossberg, right? Nothing crazy. Just start blasting, dude. Right? And be like, damn, that's crazy, you know? And then just be like, well, there's the slugs, how slugs work. And then there's the Slugger, right? So like when that video drops, it's going to be the realistic Slugger thing. I love this tier list. This is the only tier list that's ever been accurate on the game. And if you disagree with me, you're wrong. And if you think that I'm wrong and you want to project on me, I'll deflect your cope with this face shield. The sunglasses of truth and prophecy know no fear, and you can't defeat me. As hard as you try, I'll just ignore you. And keep making stupid, God tier lists. Breaker Spray and Pray. Now, the Breaker Spray and Pray is going to go into the C tier with the Eruptor, the Liberator, and the Torture, mostly for rage bait. The main reasoning behind this is the people who click to the end and don't actually listen to anything are just going to be really mad that the Breaker Spray and Pray is in C tier above all of these things, right? That's the only reason. Now, it also has a cool factor of being able to shoot a whole lot. Now I've also shot birdshot out of my shotgun, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. It does quite a bit more damage than the Breaker Spray and Pray. But that's also a 12 gauge, not a fully automatic. I don't really know the difference. These might be 3 gauge shells. That would be crazy. They might be 20 gauge shells. I thought about that in my head for a second. I was like, a 3 gauge shotgun shell would blow my arms off if I shot it. I got it twisted for a second. Now, the reason the Breaker Spray and Pray is bad is because you can shoot it into the sky at the Shriekers, which are burbs, and it won't kill any of them. Now, I'ma just be realistic here. That don't make no sense. Punisher, D tier. This is a weapon attachment, okay? Now, if you want to argue about the Punisher being a weapon attachment, then you would have to say that the Cookout isn't. Now, the Cookout is the best version of all of them. Why would you take the normal Punisher over the Cookout? You just wouldn't. We're being realistic. This does everything the Punisher does, but also lights things on fire. Where would you rate the Kickback? Bro, if the Kickback from Darktide was in, hang on, it would be the entire A and S tier because of how it works. Yeah, the Rubber Ducky Man's PP is the Kickback from Darktide. And he's the master of this tier list. And if you disagree, you're wrong. He's packing heat. Exactly. All right. Fire Shotgun. B tier. No. A tier? Sure. That's going to make Redditors mauled. It is what it is. All right. So the Fire Shotgun is in the A tier for the simple factor that, one, it got nerfed and the ammo economy sucks. But two, wait a minute, it's a weapon attachment. Wouldn't the Breaker be a weapon attachment of the Fire Shotgun? It's like the Cookout. It's the final form. The weapon attachments are final forms. Damn. Does that mean the Breaker should go in fish tier? Wait. The Breaker's green. Excellent. The Breaker's like a thick fish. All right. That's perfect. The Breaker goes in fish tier. 3 web for fish tier. So this is the most realistic tier list so far. The Fire Shotgun, I don't really know. Everybody used this thing for like 3 months straight because it was like mega broken OP. It cooked everything. It still does cook everything. It's just not the Cookout. Everybody hide. Don't tell them. Reginald, we have a new fish tier in our tier list. Are you proud of us? Papa Reggie, are you proud, Papa Reggie? Are you proud of us, Papa Reggie? Oh, that's the catch. Shut up, Reggie. Anyways, moving on because that guy's suspicious. The new laser pistol is S tier. Now, one, it makes the really pathetic sound. And I think that's great because it's a little piss pistol. On the second hand, it lights things on fire and kills them way too fast, and it doesn't really make sense. So the laser pistol is the new S tier of pistols. If they ever buff it at all, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm just going to say that, like, it's the best pistol right now. It's the pistol. It sounds like piss. S is in the word piss. Laser pistol's S tier is what it is. Bushwacker. Funny name, A tier. I don't really need to explain it outside of that. Grenade pistol, B tier. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, why would the grenade pistol be B tier? Probably just for rage bait. And you would be right. Absolutely, you'd be right. Realistically, it don't make no sense either. Reasoning. We'll get some reasoning. They nerfed the amount of total ammo it has, but for some reason, you resupply an odd amount of ammo. So you have to make sure that you're always in like a weird amount of like shots removed from your gun to never overcap it. So you just blast it for no reason a lot of the time. And I don't like that. And it's unrealistic that it doesn't have its ammo correctly weighted so properly. You should know what I'm saying. If you don't know what I'm saying, you're ridiculous. So it's B tier. Big brain. Imagine being a soldier and then given so much inconsistency in your ammo counts. Exactly. Put a noob tube on the Liberator. I agree with that. There should be a noob tube. That should be a weapon attachment. I achieved my goal. All right. Next pistol, the Verdict. B tier. Now, it's not as good as the Bushwacker for anything, because the Bushwacker is the Bushwacker, obviously. But the Verdict, man, when this came out, I was sold a Deagle that I was going to be blasting tanks with. Sheer disappointment rang through my soul. So that's why it's B tier. It's a disappointment. Now, it is really cool, and it is fun to use, and I do use it all the time, and it's might be an S tier pistol in another tier list, but in the realistic tier list, it's B tier. No, Reginald, you're wrong, because if you're moving forward, it can one-tap a Devastator in the head. If you leap forward, you can one-shot them in the head. Only if you're moving back. If you see, that's, we just caught Reginald. We just caught Reginald scared. It's directionally challenged. Oh my God. You got baited. Isn't it stupid that the -1 damage thing is still in the game and it messes with so many weapons break points? It stinks. What are we... You guys are being... Again, you're being ridiculous. There can only be one fishy pistol, and it's obviously the Cripser. Uh-oh. Yeah, well, one, it looks like a fish, right? Two, like... Okay, we have a couple things to talk about, you guys. You guys are being like... I don't know who you've been watching on YouTube, but I'm genuinely disappointed in you. Okay, this is the realistic Helldivers 2 tier list. This is the fish tier. The Cripser looks like a fish, and it shoots fire. Like, what are you guys talking about? This is crazy. It's the top of the fish tier, even. Come on. Lock in. All right. Revolver, also B tier. Not as good as the Bushwacker, very clearly. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows the Revolver's not as good as the Bushwacker. You would be nonsensical to think so. Wait, the reasoning for this is going to be crazy. We have to go open our old balance feedback doc. Okay. Now, the reason that the Revolver is going where it is because of the sight. Okay. It's crooked. It's unrealistic, guys. Unrealistic. Now, it still does damage, and it still owns, and you can hip fire it or whatever, and you can spin it around and look really cool. But there's no way it should be crooked. It gets damaged when you land in your hell pod. Is that what it is? Maybe this is the most real gun on the tier list. The Redeemer. Also, B tier. It's not as good as the Bushwacker. Nothing is really. and it's not as good as the laser pistol. It dumps ammo a lot. It's really good at killing the stuff that doesn't matter anymore. This is a super Helldive tier list, by the way. If we're being, just to be completely honest, this is a super Helldive tier list. Okay, so the Redeemer is in B tier. You're going to get the same value out of the Redeemer as the Revolver, the Verdict, and the Grenade Pistol. Okay, these are all unrealistic. That's why they're here. They're probably better than this, but they lost points for being unrealistic. Now, this machine pistol don't make no sense either. Okay. The Redeemer needs to go akimbo. Lewis understands if the Redeemers were akimbo, they would be S tier. And until they get akimbo, they're B tier because they're unrealistic. Peacemaker. Cuck. Because it doesn't make no sense. It should have this weapon should promote meleeing. We said this in the balance doc, right? Add a knife to it, like the tack knife in COD. This is a starting pistol and promotes newer players to melee more, which is extremely undervalued at the current stage of the game and gets more people into better habits, while providing a unique use case for more fun. If you disagree with that take, you're bad at the game. Is what it is, really. But if it had the Knoife, because a lot of people were like, they were struggling with hunters when hunters were bugged and all you had to do was punch them and they couldn't fight you, right? And you're going to be like, you can't melee. It doesn't work. Play. Well, guess what? Accidentally, I had this all planned. You would think this was scripted. Okay? You would think. But look at this. Look at this hero. Okay? Dive to make sure the hunter melees my feet so I don't die. And look at this Chad. Boom. Boom. This is with the Redeemer, too. Redeem D's. Look. Anybody who ever told you you were bad at Super Helldive or Helldive, whatever, just start punching. You don't need ammo. You don't even need a gun, realistically. Right? So, like here, melee is undervalued, and the Peacemaker should have a tactical knife on it. And this is why. Because it would promote new players into meleeing, being the super chads that they were meant to be. Look at that hero. Amelia showed up and saved my life at the end when these guys showed up, but I could have killed them if I felt like it. Is what it is. It'll make sense later, bro. I'll explain it to you one-on-one because it'll liquefy your brain like I liquefy. See, I started this by liquefying everybody's brain so it would make sense. So I'll have to liquefy your brain later. I got you covered, bro. Don't even worry about it, all right? Hello?
Like the Discord. Sub to the stream. Give Clay $5. Tell him he's a moron because his tier list doesn't look like my tier list.
No, see, Thick, your tier lists have been wrong the entire time. This is the realistic tier list. This is for realism.
Nobody plays the game for realism, but you should still give Clay money.
Yeah, but look, we have a dumpster fire fish that's on fire, and that's our fish tier. For weapons that look like...
that?
Well, all these weapons look like fish.
Wait, pull the fish back up? Oh.
Makes sense, right?
Wait, move the fish. I see it on the tier list. Wait, so the Cripser is the fire around the fish, and all the other guns are fish.
Thank you for the gifted sub, Vinny. I appreciate you, King.
Also,
thank you.
I'm going to be honest with you, Clay. But thanks, Vinny, by the way. Can more people give Clay more money, please? I'm going to be honest with you, Clay. That breaker is slightly a different shade from the fish's skin. So I don't think it's quite fish.
But everybody said it was fish tier. I got flamed by like 100 people. That's not fair. You can't disrespect the people's choice. This is a realistic tier list. They voted.
Yeah, my bad. I can't disrespect 100 people.
You can't.
If 100 people all decided.
They all spammed in chat L take, and I had to agree with them instantly because I have only W takes.
Fair enough. Okay. Go back to your stream. Sorry.
Good seeing you. It's okay. Thanks for telling people to give me money. It worked.
Yeah. Also, make sure to like the Discord.
Like the Discord. Thick, stop it. I'm an impulsive super chatter. He's an impulsive super chatter. Throw some 3 wims up for my boy, bro. $7 super chat. Thank you, King.
Or else I'm going to get Clay to ban all the non-members. All right, I'll catch you.
Yeah, peace, brother.
Join the stream.
Join the stream, like the Discord. Thanks, Thick. I appreciate you, bro. And Aaron's with the $5. Unfortunately, this tier list is not good because it does not look like Thick's. I don't make the rules. Damn, he paid to say that, too. Well, I'm just going to be honest with you. Because you paid, I'm going to say that you're right. So I have to put sunglasses on to cope and deflect that energy into saying that this is the most realistic tier list on Helldivers 2, and you're wrong. But I can only say that with the shades of truth on. Because without them, I'm a complete sellout. So thank you for the money. I appreciate you. Put the hat on. Hang on. All right. Let's finish this tier list off correctly. Okay, guys. So we have the pinwheel. Actually, hang on. I could do something cool. Kind of. Hang on. I got to mute my mic, though. Now there's I bought an electric thing that shoots air to spin a pinwheel on my hat. Anyways, the Knoife. Unrealistic that you can't melee with it. Dumpster fire. The Knoife is actually dumpster fire. The Knoife is a minnow. Okay, dude. You're right. I'm wrong. Is what it is. I know. I love how Clay doesn't wear shades when he actually needs shades. Fine. Now I can't see anything. Good luck in chat. All right. Anyways. Thermite Grenade. Also dumpster fire. Thermite's D tier because it's just not very good. It doesn't kill. It's unrealistic and does not work like Thermite works like in real life. Okay. It just does not work the way it's supposed to. It's not good. Let's stop pretending. Stop coping. Tier list of all tier lists. Okay. It only takes 2.2 Thermite. What? It only takes 2.5, bro. Come on. Next grenade, Incendiary. This is also a dumpster fire grenade because it's unrealistic that it doesn't do as good as the impact fire version of it, which also don't make no sense. So that's why the regular Incendiary Grenade is in the dumpster fire, and the impact fire grenade is in the B tier. Stop calling me. Scammer gets scammed. Impact fire grenade's in B tier because it has impact and lights things on fire. I can see the real tier list reflected in my shades. Can you? Throw some 3 webs up for my boy. I can't say his name or YouTube will demonetize the stream. Oh, you can. Look at that. You can see the real tier list in the corner there. All right, Clay, gotta run. Glad to see you partying. Yes, hey, bro. I'm making the best out of Helldivers 2 that anybody could. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. I hope you guys are just having fun. $50 super chat from Unalive Trout. Love you, by the way, King. It's been a while since I've seen you. Will you wear the nice hat for the rest of the stream? Bro, it has so many layers of duct tape in it. If I wear it for the rest of the stream, I'm going to be sweating buckets. That's only fair. Is this stream pay to win? This stream has been pay to win since its inception. It's always been pay to win. It is what it is. And if you really wanted to, like Neno one time donated $200 and he reset the tier list and put the thing exactly where he wanted it. And now for some reason, if we made another Darktide anything, Psyker's $1,400 in the hole and goes last. All right, stun grenade. This is going into the... It'll go A tier. I think it's fairly realistic that if I throw the stun grenade, it doesn't stun the giant Bile Titan, that it does stun the giant Charger, that it does stun a bunch of the other stuff, that it doesn't stun tanks. It's pretty realistic when it comes to being a stun grenade, okay? It stuns what it should. It doesn't stun what it shouldn't. Should it stun the Bile Titan? I'm still in the yes boat. Probably, maybe. We'll never find out because they're never fixing that. So stun grenade, solid A tier. Stuns a computer. True. It's the stun grenade stuns computers. That's why it's realistic. The smoke grenade's going B tier, boys. Now, there's technology with the smoke. You have to hold it, and it has to explode in your hand, because if you throw it, sometimes everything knows exactly where you are if you throw it. I don't know why. But if it pops in your hand, they can't see you. And I don't know why that is. But realistically, that makes sense, because if I blew a smoke grenade up in my hand would probably fall off. And then if I blew another up in my hand that fell off, then I would blow up and disappear. And then it would be like the smoke's supposed to work anyways. Maybe it's S tier. It's realistic. Either way. You're wrong if you're wrong. Fragmentation Grenade. D tier. It's not good. I don't like it. It makes me sad. And the Explosive Grenade is going to go into the C tier. Now, the reason behind the Explosive Grenade in the C tier is because there's not a lot of other places to put it, because it's not as bad as the other stuff. It can't be a fish, and it just makes sense. So that's why it's C tier. All right. So this is the Super Helldive Tier 10 Realistic Weapon Tier List. 1.05, which really didn't do anything. And the fake patch that was 1.04 that realistically didn't actually change anything, and like none of this stuff happened. Just like everybody probably wishes this tier list didn't happen. But anyways, this is the most realistic that it's going to be ever. Now, anybody who watches to the end of the video, I cut out a lot of stuff that would have made you rage a lot less hard for the first 15 minutes. But realistically, S tier is the super weapons that will carry any game, mega OP, super fun to use. A tier, alpha weapons, also pretty fun. B tier, beta weapons, probably still in beta because like there is something about them doesn't make sense, and if you click to the end, you have to go back and watch it. And if you don't, I'm gonna know that you're just crying about things that don't exist because you're stupid. C tier is for cucked weapons that got nerfed way too hard or pre-nerfed in some cases. Dumpster Fire 1 is for things that are bad. Dumpster Fire 2 is for weapon attachments that shouldn't be in the game. And if you're to argue that other weapons are weapon attachments, then these are the best versions of the weapon attachments. It's like when you watch Dragon Ball Z, this is like Dragon Ball tier list. These evolved into the best versions of themselves, and their old version got forgotten about, and nobody's ever going to think about them again. And all these weapons down here look like fish. It's a fish. It's a fish. It's a fish. It's a bass, which is also a fish. And then this is a minnow. So very realistic, and you're wrong if you think otherwise. So that's our realistic super Helldive tier list update. I'm definitively the god super player that nobody's better than ever. You can probably tell by my hat and my pinwheel on my head that clearly nobody could be better, and I have shades to deflect cope that would say otherwise. So if you disagree with me, you're wrong, and it's about as realistic as the update.